eventually, somehow, some way, as you're leaning into that, as you're leaning into your integrity and your intuition, you're gonna get backlash somehow. Maybe this the listeners of the podcast, that they expected one thing and now you're evolving into something else, or people just don't agree with you, or it's just your common Twitter trolls that just want to take out their dirty laundry on you. What do you do, Nick, when you start leaning into that authentic self, when you start leaning into you following that inner voice and there's backlash? And I'm not talking about just like basic level backlash where you kind of just like your eyes roll into the back of your head and you're like, okay, whatever. But like backlash that really hits you hard. Maybe it's backlash from someone you really trust, or backlash from, they really like twist the knife on an insecurity or something. Like what do you do about that?
If you are the one that's creating everything, then your self-worth is going to be attached to the result. It's going to be attached to if people like it. It's going to be attached to if people don't. And you're going to really feel the effect of whatever the response is. If you just get out of the way and recognize that, like, I'm not even the one that's creating this. I'm the vessel. So regardless of what happens then, it's like, this is just something that came through me. The universe created this. My ego is not attached to it. My ego is not involved. If it does well, cool. If not, whatever. Right. And so there's like an unattachment that comes with doing that and being that. And again, easier said than done. We all have an ego, and anybody that created anything that was worthwhile is also probably going to receive some backlash. So it's like maybe even seeing it as a good thing. The example that I like to use is when Avicii, rest in peace, my number one favorite artist, when he created Wake Me Up and Hey Brother, folk songs, right? He was like a house music, progressive house DJ, and then decided like, hey, I am authentically inspired to collaborate with some of these folk artists and have acoustic guitars and banjos and mix that with house music. Came out to Ultra Miami and premiered Wake Me Up, which completely like half the crowd left because he came out with live singers and artists. I don't know if you guys have watched the recent documentary that came out. Yeah, another documentary came out recently. The whole crowd, I'm talking like tens of thousands of people, were like, what the is this? And like we're booing and walking away. Like he took a huge creative risk. And like 2 weeks later, Wake Me Up was like the most played song on Spotify ever. So the initial backlash, it was like being misunderstood. All right, people didn't get it. But he knew what he was doing. I think such a great example of a truly prolific artist, of someone that was just like, hey, well, this is what wants to come through me. This is what's authentic to me. And maybe people are going to misunderstand it, but eventually people caught on and he created something great. So there's a question here tied up into this, which is like, yeah, how do you deal with haters? I would rather be dealing with hate for, me actually making that I'm proud of and that is actually like authentic to me, than deal with haters hating on me for making some that isn't actually even what I'm all about. I don't know. I fortunately haven't had to deal with that much. I did at one point, I actually posted a Threads. Like I never used Threads. Like it kind of blew up and created this huge, conversation, and had like literally like big artists like chiming in, and a lot of people were like ripping into me, calling me like, like who's this bro, like talking to, artists. I noticed myself get really defensive. I was like, oh, that wasn't what I meant. I was trying to defend myself. And one, there was a big lesson there in be okay with being misunderstood. I get DMs and text messages literally every single day from people thanking me for either whether it's the content I put out, the podcast I put out, or like also just from past clients. Like literally a couple times a week, I have, I've personally coached like hundreds of people that don't know me, that might misunderstand what I'm about and what I'm doing. And that's more of a reflection of like who they are and where they're at and on their journey, and then their mindset, and, nothing but love to them, whatever. But the thing that I think would get me through any of that, and has in the past, is I know what I've done. You know what I mean? Like I got a long list of clients, and to go all the way back, even further, it's like I've helped enough people at this point. And I think this is what it boils down to. My heart is in the right place. You know what I mean? I'm never trying to manipulate. I've been committed to service, right? And I think if your heart is in the right place, you're coming from the right place, you're committed to, just sharing your gift and sharing your art. Like, okay, if people misunderstand it, whatever, that's on them. It's not your job to convince the world of your art or your greatness. But you just are here. You're here to just share your gift. My gift is coaching. My gift is serving. My gift is helping. That's my gift. I'm committed to giving it. I feel like it's my purpose. It's my mission. Again, I'm a spiritual person. I truly feel that I've been, chosen to do this work. And in the same way, as an artist, I hope that like you feel that you've been chosen to bring your gift and your art to the world as well. And so that's about you and your relationship to the divine, your relationship with just like your mission and your purpose. And if you're in alignment with that, then people disagreeing with it and misunderstanding you is not really going to make a big difference, because you're going to know what you're all about and you're going to know where your heart's at.
DAW Nation, listen very closely. This is not the end to this content. This was a teeny tiny little snippet from our full episode. You can check out the full episode in the link in the description. And when you go to the free episode, you can get a free pack over there. So go check it out right now. Why are you still here? Get out of here. Go check it out. We'll see you over there.